So we can contrast the old paradigm and a new paradigm in order to understand what needs to be done, what needs to be changed to get at serious injuries and fatalities more effectively. The old paradigm is characterized by the idea that injuries of low severity have the same potential to be serious, that injuries of differing severity have the same underlying causes, that one injury reduction strategy will affect injuries across the board, reduce the small ones, you'll reduce the larger ones at the top. And it has the traditional Heinrich safety triangle. The effect of that paradigm has been positive in some ways, but it has also been negative in other significant ways. It has tended to elevate the trivial. The example given is, I'm a frontline worker, I come to work and I see these guys in suits and ties and clipboards out in the parking lot doing safety observations. And I can tell by their ties that they're senior executives. They're having a meeting at our plant, and in order to do their exercise of safety responsibility, someone thought it would be a great idea if they all went out and did some safety observations. Well, they didn't want to go in the plant, so they went in the parking lot, and they did their safety observations with their clipboards. Now, the frontline employee that told me this story said, I was really unhappy when I saw that. I could have taken those people to places in our organization, in our plant, where we have serious safety issues. And I would have been happy to do that. But to have them out looking in the parking lot for, was someone keeping their eyes on the path where they were walking or not, just didn't get it for me. It just caused me to kind of lose some credibility for our overall leadership. It has also caused the creative classification of injuries. So one way to control the numbers is to classify them in a way that makes the numbers look better. I think that can be related to this same problem, where you're trying to get every number to be perfect rather than focusing on where it counts. It has resulted in a loss of credibility with labor organizations, because they see this, they object to it, and it's a legitimate objection. It has caused a kind of cynicism among people that we're not really doing what we should be doing. The new paradigm is that minor injuries have different causal roots, different characteristics and attributes, situations and activities, and they're different kinds of events. Reducing the minor injuries will not necessarily reduce injuries at the top. It requires a different kind of strategy, and that strategy should be led by the notion of precursor events and the identification of those precursor events. The effect of the new paradigm is to put more focus of effort on serious and fatal events, to build a stronger safety culture, to engage the labor organization more effectively, to lower the rate of serious injuries, and to engage senior leadership in safety in a different kind of way. Interestingly, senior leaders are very motivated by serious and fatal injuries. They take them personally. I can't tell you the number of senior leaders that I have worked with who have told me stories about a really serious event that happened, and they take it as on their watch, that kept them up at night, that haunted them over the years, that affected them very deeply. Now, that's an asset in a certain way. In other words, we can mobilize the efforts of senior leaders by engaging them in the process of what is it we have to do to stop these kind of events from happening. And we haven't proven this yet, but my view is that if you effectively get at the more serious kinds of events, that will generalize. So it's starting from the top and working down rather than from the bottom and working up. We have to demonstrate that that's the case, but I believe that that's the case. So what kinds of things can organizations do once they understand the importance of serious injuries and fatalities? How do we approach it? One thing you can do is study your own data and do the same kind of study that I just described. Aggregate your data across organizations and see what is the rate of smaller injuries that have the potential to be serious ones. define the situations and activities that are associated with your serious injuries and fatalities, and define the precursors in your organization. And then look at the kinds of safety efforts that you have ongoing and see the extent to which those things reach to the precursors that set off serious and fatal events. Secondly, develop a serious injury and fatality rate. Now, that's determining what constitutes a serious injury, and then adding the serious injuries and the fatalities together, divide by hours worked, and have a serious and fatal injury rate. Here's an example of one by a very large organization, and you can see that while their TRIR is coming down across this time period, their serious and fatal injury rate is constant. Now, that organization did not know that before they computed this rate. Now, some people object to a serious SIF rate because they say we don't want to treat these events as a number, a statistic. These are human people and they were really hurt. We want to consider each one of those. I think that's the right idea. So I'm not sure you have to publicize this rate, but I do think that you should have it. You should know, are you making progress on this category of events? That might be something we'll discuss further with our panel. And then basically integrate all of the programming, all of the activities that you're doing on behalf of safety, integrate these concepts into that activity. So the general concept of how you reduce serious injuries and fatalities, you study them, you gather the right data, you get a good understanding within your company of what it's all about, and then you integrate that information and efforts that reach the precursors to your existing set of safety systems.